Let's welcome Arden. All right, so as I ask every SecKC person that starts to give me some crap, how many black badges do you guys have? Okay.
Who won their CTF?
Yes. Who dominated that CTF? All right. So again, I am Arden. I am one of the folks from SecDSM. Tonight I'm going to be talking to you about privilege escalation and master key systems. So that's if Dell is going to cooperate and work. There we go. So first off, I am building on some other people's works. Matt Blaze published a paper a while back, say 15 years back. And then a lot of the slides, a lot of the animations that I have in my slides are courtesy of Deviant from Tool. Who the hell am I? Again, Arden Meyer. I'm a retired Master Sergeant in the United States Air Force, former OCO type, and currently I'm working on my PhD at Iowa State. First, a word about rules. We always do have rules. With lockpicking first, never pick locks that you do not own or have direct permission from the owner, and do not pick locks upon which you rely. These are our standard 2 rules. Tonight I'm adding a 3rd rule. Don't go home and attempt these techniques I'm about to show you without permission, preferably written permission. I'm not going to come bail you out of jail. I'm not going to come testify in court. Okay, first off, doorknobs, padlocks, deadbolts, this applies to all of them. They all have the exact same mechanism on the inside. This is kind of what it looks like on the inside. Here's the pin stacks. By now, if anybody's picked locks, you already understand all of this. The important part that I'm going to talk to you about tonight is the master key systems. So we see these in corporate, we see these in educational institutions, and another corporate slide. So this is a master key system. You notice the green, do I have color? Good, I do have color. You notice the green bits there? These are master pins. This allows multiple keys to function on this lock. So on here we've got an example where a standard 8-pin or a 6-pin with a 2-pin master, and that the key bit at 6 or 8 will open that lock. So here's where we're going to get into some examples. We've got Alice's key, we have Bob's key, then we've got Andy's key. We probably can't read these names. And then of course we have the janitor key, splotched up with paint. The janitor's key is going to work on everybody's doors. Here's our example bit depths. I should caveat for these slides, this is using a standard quickset keyway, mainly because it's only got 7 bit depths and I don't want to bore you with 6,000 slides. As it is, I have 260 some of them. So again, here are our bit depths on each of these keys. So here's example keyways. What is that slide? There we go. So here we have example keys, example lock using, which lock is this? Okay, so this is Alice's key in each lock. So up here in the upper left we can see that Alice's key works on her lock, but you'll notice that it doesn't work on Andy's lock or over here on Bob's lock. This is the 36235 key. If we switch to Andy's key, we notice that Andy's key is not going to work on Alice's door. It's not going to work on Bob's door, but it will work on Andy's door. Similarly, Bob's key works on his own door, but not on Alice's or Andy's. And then we'll notice the janitor key lines up fine on both Alice and Andy's doors, but it actually doesn't line up. Yes, it doesn't line up on Bob's down here. Because Bob's is in a different master key system. Okay, so first we're going to consider Alice's key. So any lock that she can access with a bitting depth of 36235, well, obviously it's going to work in her own lock. What do we know about the inside of that lock now? Of course, this is designed to be a little bit more interactive, but hey. Perfect answer. It's going to work on that lock. So we know that we have these top hats, possibly this on the inside, but we actually don't know if there's any optional master pinning. So this is what we're wanting to find out. We want to find out what those pins, if there are any master pins on the inside. So we're going to prepare an exploratory key. So again, we know that 36235 works. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut a key at 06235. So we've got this 0 cut right here. We're going to leave the next 4 at bit depths that we know function. And then we're going to go and we're going to sweep this entire range from 0 through 7, which is the max for this particular keyway. We do have to be careful of max, which is maximum adjacent cut specification. So for different keyways, there's a maximum delta between individual bits. If you exceed this, you're risking getting your key stuck inside. On a quickset, the max is a 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to file the position down 1 bit, because 0 is actually not a valid bit depth on quickset. 1 is the first bit depth. If you need to know what the individual bit depths are, you can either take a measuring
Micrometer,
caliper, or we can cheat. We have these lovely little cards that give you multiple keyways and tells you what each of the different valid bit depths are. So we're going to file it down to 1. At the moment we do have a max violation because we're going from a 6 to a 1. So technically we should never find this in a lock, but who knows what locksmith might have tried to break some rules. So we're going to go ahead and give this a try. And the lock doesn't open. We take the key out, we file down 1 more position, we're now at a 2. Notice that here we have 2 different bit depths that are at 2, but they look different. It's because we're using a hand file, unless you've got a lot of equipment for key cutting. But these are still the exact same bit depths. We don't have a max violation now, my bad. Max on quickset is a 4. So 4 is valid, 5 is not valid. So we're going to try this key. Nope, doesn't open. Wash, rinse, repeat. We're going to file down another position, get down to 3. We're going to try that one. It opens. Hey! Is anybody surprised that it opened?
Yes.
Why? That's the original key depth. So we knew it was going to open there at 3. But, so we do know now that the full front stack, or the full front pin, we're going to keep going because we might have a master key or a master pin in the upper header. So we're going to file down 1 more position to 4. We're going to try that. That doesn't work. Remove. We're going to go down to 5. Try the key. Still doesn't work. Remove it. Get down to a 6. Try it. Voila. So what we've just found, we have found a master pin in that first position. So all drivers are now raised, and here's the slide I was looking for. So we know that we have this 3 bit depth master pin in that first position. This is what we do know. We still got 4 more pin stacks to go. Now we can try the 7th. Yeah, here we go. We can try the 7th bit depth as well, and it's not going to work. Continue with the rest of the bidding range. That's the end of, for this keyway, that's the end of the bidding range. But if we were on, like, say, an SC4 system that has 10 bit depths, we would keep going. So again, quickset depths don't go past a 7. Their valid depths are 1 through 7. So now we're going to prepare the next key to explore position number 2. So we've discovered this master bit depth of 6 at the first pin. We leave the second at a 0 cut, and then we use the known positions from our provided change key, the key that our dorm manager or our office manager gave us for our door. Now, again, 0 depth is not valid in quickset, so it should not be used. So we can save time by starting at position number 1. Now here we do know that max is being violated again, but we're going to try it anyway. Doesn't work. We remove the key, we file down a little bit more. Now our max is okay. We're going to try the key in the lock. Nope, still doesn't work. We pull it out, file down a little bit more, try the key, and it doesn't work. Remove the key, file it down some more, try the key, and it works. So now we know, again, we know our positions, valid positions on the second pin. We have 2 known positions. We found 4, and we know 6 because of our provided change key. So this is what we learned earlier. This shows that we don't yet know what we've got in positions 3, 4, and 5. So we're building on this information. So, okay, this is showing another shear line. Trying to keep up with my slides here. We know from our change key that this is a valid key. This is a change key. So we already knew 6. This is what we know at this point, and we're done with position 2. So we don't need to check position 5 or position 7. Okay, I don't have a... So the reason that we don't need to check positions 5 and position 7 on that second pin is we do not create single bit depth master pins. If you try, they get rolled up, they jam your lock, so you will just never find that in the real world. So again, single depth mastering pins are exceptionally rare. They're bad. We just don't use them. So to speed things along, we can just skip those 2 positions. We found 4, and we know that 6 is valid from our change key, so we're not going to have anything at 5 or 7. If we really wanted to, we could test them. We're not going to. Again, this should work. This is from our provided change key. Okay, so further exploring, not necessary. Same with the depth of 7. As I said, we don't do single depth pins. And quickset locks don't go past 7. So now we've got 2 of the chambers known. We have 3 chambers unknown. So we're going to, again, prepare another key. So, what cut do we put in position 1? 6 or 3. So we'll go with 6, the master pin. Is this a valid key?
No.
No, it's not. It would be a max violation. What do we put in position 2? 6 or 4. We'll go with 4 because that's the master that we just found. What do we put in position 3? I'm hearing a couple of people muttering. I heard a 0 and a 1. I would go with 1. My slides do say 0 at the moment. Again, 0 is not a valid bit depth, so I would start at 1, as some of you commented. And then for the rest of the key, what are positions 4 and 5? Nobody remembers? That's okay, I don't blame you. 3 and 5. Okay, so now we're going to explore. We're going to sweep this range. Or is it? Does anybody remember the change keys known depth? Hint, it's on the slide. 2, there we go. Okay, so what do we know about positions 1 and 3? Yeah, we're not going to have single bit depth master pins. So in reality, we can start at 4. So 1 and 3 would be very unwise. We know that 2, it's a known from our change key, so we can skip it, and we can just go ahead and jump right forward and start on 4, really shortening the amount of time that we're going to spend trying to find this master key. So this is a lot more efficient. We now have our third key prepared. We try it. It doesn't work. We remove the key, bust out that file. We go down one more spot, get down to 5, try the key, Bingo. We found a master pin. So this does tell us quite a bit. So, who wants to tell me what we know? Okay. I have bright lights in my eyes. I can't see if anybody's raising hands. All right. So we know this information on our lock. So we have 6 and 4 in, or I'm sorry, 6 and 3 in the first chamber. We have 6 and 4 in the second chamber. And we know that we have a 2 and a 5 in the third chamber. So we still don't know anything about our fourth and fifth chamber. We seem to have position 3 dialed in. However, do we need to explore bit depth number 6?
No.
No. Again, it would be a single depth master pin. We just don't do that. What about number 7? It is possible to have multi-master systems. Now, I wouldn't test it right off the bat, but I would take note that I had not tested it. So with your master key systems, you can have multiple tiers so that, say in a university setting, for your research labs, you have a couple different janitors for the big universities that one janitor has access to these 3 buildings, different janitor has access to these other 3 buildings, but security still has a key that works on everything. You can have multiple tiers. So there could be something at 7. I wouldn't bother with it yet. I would just take a note and come back later if I ran into some problems. So our fourth key. So we'll start out with what we've discovered. So 6, 4, and 5 are the master pins that we've discovered so far. The fourth position, we're going to leave it blank at 0. And our fifth position, we're going to put at our change key, 5. Notice that, again, this does violate our max. So we could sweep this entire range, but we do know from our provided key, from our change key, that 3 is the bit depth here. And so our more efficient would be to test out position 1, because 0 is invalid, and then hit 5, 6, and 7. So we could either code cut it at 1, or just take our handy dandy file, cut it down to 1, give it a shot. Doesn't work. And I have strobe lights now. Good thing I'm not epileptic. Okay, so we remove that key. Again, we don't need to test 2. We don't need to test 3. We know that 3 is valid, and we don't need to test 4, because 2 and 4 would violate our we never use single bit depth master pins. 3 we know works, so of course it's going to work. We remove the key, come on down to 5. We try the key at 5. Nope, no dice. Okay, we remove the key, we file down a little bit further. Try 6. Nope, still not working. So we remove the key, file down to our very last bit depth, number 7, and we try the key. Nope, didn't work. WTF. Okay, so question. You might be questioning yourself, but in this case, position number 4 for this lock is not mastered. So what that might mean is that our change key is at the exact same as the master key for this one chamber. That's still fine. Don't panic if you don't find a master key in a chamber. Or a master pin, I mean, in a chamber. So, this is what we've got decoded so far. We have 1 position left. So, this should be our last exploratory key. So let's prepare it. What do we put in the first? What are the first 4 positions? Who's memorizing this? 6, 4, 5, 3. We do have some audience members paying attention. Okay, so then we take our 5th position. We started at 0. File down to 1. Try the key. Right off the bat, it opens. Heaping bowl of awesome sauce. Okay, so there's a real chance that by now we actually know everything. Again, we took a note back on the 3rd chamber because we didn't actually test one of them. And at this point, we obviously haven't tested everything in the 5th chamber, but we've got our provided change key depth, and we just found a master pin depth. So odds are we do know everything. From our notes, we're going to keep track of what we actually tested in case we do need to come back at something. But this should be our mastering bit depth, fully decoded. Now again, there could be, in the middle of that last green one, there could be multiple master pins in there. We can come back later if need be. And there could even be some more beyond it. So, but I would honestly just take this key right here and go test my neighbor's door or my adversarial research partner's door and see if I get in. So this is what your key though could look like. Again, this is a nice cut one. This is us doing stuff with files. So we do need to be careful. Since we're doing all this stuff by hand, be careful that your key doesn't look like this. If your key looks like this, while it will turn, well actually we've got the last one set at 0, but if we had the last one set at 1, it would turn the lock, but you're never getting the key back out. Somebody in the audience just asked, what do you do then? That's a good answer. Run. If you've done this, if you're still testing this on your own door, this is where you find the shadiest locksmith you can, slip him an extra $100 to not report you to security, and fix your door. So be very careful when you're hand filing these that you don't end up with a big cavern like this that'll snag a pin. So this is the internals of our original door lock. And we can see from the marks there, those are the mastering depths. So here's a hypothetical alternate lock in the same system. Again, say either your adversary or one of your buddies that you're wanting to prank and, I don't know, do nasty things to his dorm room. So our decoded master key is going to work there as well. And you are the winner. Any questions?
If there's two numbers that, sorry. I was going to say, if there's two numbers that work, like on the first pin there was a 3 and a 6 work, how do you determine which one you really want to go with?
Okay, the question was if there are two numbers on the same pin that work, for example 6 and 3 like we have on our very first pin, which depth do we want to go with? So in this case 3 was from our change key, the key that we were given, and 6 is the one that we found. Go with the one that you found.
So a change key never uses the same as a master?
Question was, does the chain key never use what's in the master? No. Again, on our example here, the 4th pin, we do happen to share the master depth with our change key. So it can share, but if you have found an additional depth, that's likely to be your master. Your change key only works on your door, that depth.
What kind of countermeasures have you seen inside of corporate lock systems to help prevent this from becoming a problem?
Okay, so the question is, what kind of countermeasures do we have, especially in corporate environments, to prevent this? Typically, the best solution is don't use physical keys. Most of us, I've seen a few of you violating some security policies because I've seen prox badges hanging from your waist. Use a system like that. So your digital system like that it'll prevent this problem, and it also gives you auditing, gives you a log. With back when we were in college, you had no idea if security came in your room. There's no auditing to these physical keys. There are some physical key solutions that incorporate like a BLE or some sort of near field communications. There are also some other master key systems that make it significantly more difficult. They don't remove this problem, but they make it a lot more difficult, such as like dimple locks, like these, or actually I think this one's a magnet lock. But if you have like dimple locks, those are a lot harder than using a file, trying to drill the perfect depth. Or restricted keyways where you just can't get blanks. If your doors happen to be an ASA, they've copyrighted that. You cannot get the blanks for that. So those are some of the solutions. Again, if it's not a digital system though, with auditing, it doesn't prevent this from working. It just makes it significantly more difficult. If your threat model includes a nation state, yeah, even ASA is not going to help you out. But if your threat model is, you know, the 18-year-old kid down the hall from your 18-year-old daughter at college, yeah, that'd work.
I've heard the term sidebar. So a sidebar system.
Okay, so sidebar systems, again, just make it more difficult. In addition to having to deal with your vertical pins, you got side pins. They don't solve that problem, they just make it significantly more difficult.
What about at home?
What about at home? Do you have a master key system at home?
No, but like there's mass-produced locks, right, that you buy from hardware stores. What can you do?
I'm looking for the question. Ooh. Mass-produced locks at home.
Right, so what can you do to prevent somebody from falling down?
Countermeasures.
Okay, the question, what could you do to prevent them from filing a key? Nothing. But again, it's not a master key system, so nobody has one that they can play with to try to find the master. But yeah, if you've got $20 quick set on your home door, you're not going to stop a picker.
Put a security guard on it.
Any other questions? I think I can see a hand. I got spotlights in my eyes, so just yell.
Did QuickSet really go with just 5 fixed tumbler positions of all those billions of locks that they put down?
Question was, does QuickSet actually go with?
Did they shift them laterally? The pin position?
No. So this is the QuickSet keyway. There are standard QuickSet has 5 pins, and each pin it has 7 valid pin depths, and they are perfectly in a straight line. They're not shifted.
Yeah.
Yep.
That would have been fairly easy to do, the machinery wise.
True, that could have been fairly easy to do. They're in the mass market, you know, they churn them out. That's their model. If you want good quality locks, you step up to something like Medico or, again, ASA. There are several other good companies, but you're gonna pay for that. So, QuickSet locks are $20, even cheaper for the builder. The builder's probably paying $5 per lock, because he's buying them in quantities of thousands. Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.